and all that, letting go of mediocrity and all that's ordinary. Why sometimes I believed as many as six impossible things before breakfast. Lewis Carroll, Alice in Wonderland. You're a painter, right? The homeless man asked as he toyed with his with a loose button on his shabby shirt. Yeah, mumbled the artist. Sort of a frustrated one. I'm good, but not great. I have a lot of art at my flat in Zurich, said the homeless man, smiling indulgently. Bought a place right on the Bahnhofs, Bahnhofstrasse just before the prices skyrocketed. I've learned the importance of being around only the highest quality wherever I go. That's one of the best winning moves I've made to create the life I crafted. In my businesses, I only allow in top players because you can't have an A level company with C level performers. We only release products that totally disrupt our market and then absolutely change the field by how valuable they are. My enterprises only offer services that ethically enrich our clients, deliver a breathtaking user experience, and breed fanatical followers who couldn't imagine doing business with anyone else. And in my personal life, it's the same thing. I only eat the best food, though I don't eat a lot of it. I only read the most original and thoughtful books, spend my time in the most light filled and inspiring of spaces, and visit the most enchanting of places. And when it comes to relationships, I only surround myself with human beings who fuel my joy, stoke my peace, and excite me to become a better man. Life's way too valuable to hang with people who don't get you, who you just don't vibe with, who have different values and lower standards than you do, who have different mindsets, heart sets, health sets, and soul sets. It's a little miracle how powerfully and profoundly our influences and environments shape our productivity as well as our impact. Interesting, noted the entrepreneur as she stared at her phone. He does seem to know what he's talking about, she muttered softly to the artist, her eyes still down on the screen. The spider web of wrinkles on her face relaxed further. On one wrist dangled two immaculate silver bracelets. One bore the phrase "Turn I can'ts into I cans," while the other was engraved with "Done is better than perfect." The entrepreneur had purchased these presents for herself when her company was in its startup phase and she had been in a highly confident mood. I know about mindsets, said the artist. Never heard of heart sets, health sets, and soul sets, man. You will, suggested the homeless man. And once you do, the way you create, produce, and show up in your world will never be the same. Seriously revolutionary concepts for any empire maker and world builder. And so few business people and other human beings on the planet currently know about them. If they did, every important element of their lives would increase rapidly. For now, I just wanted to keep jamming on my personal commitment to ultra high quality in everything around me. Your surroundings really do shape your perceptions, your inspirations, and your implementations. Art feeds my soul. Great books battleproof my hope. Rich conversations magnify my creativity. Wonderful music uplifts my heart. Beautiful sights fortify my spirit. And all it takes is a single morning filled with positivity to deliver a monumental download of inventive ideas that elevate an entire generation, you know? And I need to say that uplifting mankind, humankind, is the master sport of business that the top 5 play, top 5% play. The real purpose of commerce is not only to make your personal fortune, the true reason to be in the game is to be helpful to society. My main focus in business is to serve. Money, power, and prestige are just the inevitable byproducts that have shown up for me along the way. An old and remarkable friend taught me this way of operating when I was a young man. It totally transformed the state of my prosperity and the magnitude of my private freedom. And this contrarian business philosophy has dominated my way of doing things ever since. Who knows? Maybe I'll introduce my mentor to you sometime. The vagrant paused. The vagrant or the vagrant. Hmm. He studied his large watch. Next, he closed his eyes and said these words: Own your morning, elevate your life. As if by magic, a fairly small and quick, quite thick piece of white paper appeared in the palm of his outstretched left hand. It was quite a trick. You would have been exceedingly impressed if you were standing there with these three souls. Here's what the image on the paper looked like. See the image in your books. Okay. The entrepreneur and the artist both had the mouths open at this point, appearing to be both confused and mesmerized. You two each have a hero inside of you. You knew this as a child before adults told you to limit your powers, shackle your genius, and betray the truths of your heart, the homeless man told him, sounding a lot like the spellbinder. Adults are deteriorated children, he went on. When you were much younger, you understood how to live. Staring at the stars filled you with delight. Running in a park made you feel alive, and chasing butterflies flooded you with joy. Oh, how I adore butterflies. Then, as you grew up, you forgot how to be human. You forgot how to be bold and enthusiastic and loving and wildly alive. Your precious reservoirs of hope faded. Being ordinary became acceptable. The lamp of your creativity, your positivity, and your intimacy with your greatness grew dim as you began to worry about fitting in, having more than others, and being popular. Oh, well, here's what I say: participate not in the world of numbed up grown ups with its scarcity, apathy, and limitation. I'm inviting you to enter a secret reality known only to the true masters, great geniuses, and genuine legends of history, and to discover primal powers within you that you never knew were there. You can create magic in your work and personal lives. I sure have, and I'm here to help you do so. Before the entrepreneur and the artist could even utter a word, the homeless man continued with his discourse. Oh, I was jamming on the importance of art and the ecosystems that your life is built within. Makes me think of the awesome words of the Portuguese writer Fernando Pessoa. Art frees us through illusion from the squalor of being, while feeding the wrongs and sufferings endured by Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, we don't feel our own, which are wild because they're ours, and wild because they're wild. Also reminds me of what Van Gogh said. For my part, I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of the stars makes me dream. Wow. The homeless man swallowed hard. His eyes darted away. He cleared his throat nervously. Guys, I've been through a lot, been knocked down and kicked around a ton by life. Been sick, been attacked, been abused, been misused. Hey, I'm sounding like a country song. If my girl cheated on me and my dog died, I would have had a hit single. I would have a hit single. The homeless man laughed, an odd, guttural circus clown on acid sort of laugh. He carried on. Anyway, it's all good. Pain is the doorway into deep. Know what I mean? And tragedy is nature's great purifier. It burns away the fakeness, fear, and arrogance that is of the ego, returns us to our brilliance and genius. If you have the courage to go into that which wounds you, suffering yields many rewards, including empathy, originality, reliability, and authenticity. Jonas Salk said, I have had dreams and I have had nightmares. But I have conquered my nightmares because of my dreams. The uninvited vagabond added wistfully. He's super weird, incredibly eccentric, but there's something special to him, admitted the entrepreneur quietly to the artist, removing just a little more of the armor of cynicism that had protected her over her stellar career. What he just said is exactly what I've needed to hear. I get that he looks like he lives in a cardboard box on the streets, but listen to his words. Sometimes he speaks like a poet. How could he be so articulate? Where did his depth come from? And who's this old friend he says has taught him so much? He also has a warmth that reminds me of my dad. I still miss him. He was my confidant, my top supporter, and my best friend. I think of him every day. Okay, said the artist to the quirky stranger. You asked me what I liked best from the talk. I liked the part where the spellbinder talked about the Spartan warrior credo that says one who sweats more in training bleeds less in war. And I liked his line, high victory is made in those early morning hours when no one's watching and while everyone is sleeping. His teaching on the value of a world class morning routine were great. The entrepreneur glanced down at her device. I've taken some good notes, but I didn't pick up those gems, she said as she captured what she had just heard. We only hear what we are ready to hear, observed the homeless man sagely. All learning meets us exactly where we are at. And as we grow greater, we understand better. The voice of the spellbinder suddenly rang out. The homeless man's eyes looked as huge as the Taj Mahal. One could see he was terrifically surprised to hear the famous tone. He spun around, seeking the source. Quickly, all became clear. The artist was playing his illicit recording from the seminar. Here's the part I like the most. To fully answer your question, brother, he stated, staring directly into the eyes of the shabby tramp. In a culture of cyber zombies, addicted to distraction and afflicted with interruption, the wisest way to guarantee that you consistently produce your mastery level results in the most important areas of your professional and personal life is to install a world class morning routine. Winning starts at your beginning, and your first hours are when heroes are made. Wage a war against weakness and launch a campaign against fearfulness. You truly can get up early, and doing so is is a necessity in your awesome pursuit towards legendary. Take excellent care of the front end of your day, and the rest of your day will pretty much take care of itself. Own your morning, elevate your life. The spellbinder could be heard wheezing like a novice swimmer who went too far too fast. The artist continued presenting his recording, turning up the volume so the sound was blaring. Here's the precious little secret that the titans of industry, the standout performers of artistry, and the ultra achievers of humanity will never share with you. Garangutan, gargantuan results, gargantuan results are much less about your inherited genetics and far more about your daily habits. And your morning ritual is by far the most essential one to calibrate and then automate. When we see the icons in action, the forceful seduction sold to us by a civilization is to believe they were always that great, that they were born into the exceptionalism, that they won the fortunate DNA lottery, that their genius was inherited. Yet the truth is that we are watching them in their full blazing glory after years of following a process, one that involved ceaseless hours of practice. When we observe magnificent players in business, sports, science, and the arts, we are observing the earned results of a monomaniacal concentration around a single pursuit. Astronomical focus on one skill, intensity of sacrifice applied to one aim, unusual levels of deep preparation, and extreme amounts of solid patience. Remember, every professional was once an amateur, and every master started as a beginner. Ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary feats once they have routinized the right habits. This cat is so solid, said the homeless man. He clapped his dirty hands like a kid at a carnival. He checked his watch yet again. Then he began to shuffle his feet while swaying his hips towards forward and then backward. His hands were now waving in the air, and he was snapping his fingers. With his closed eyes again, sounds like the early rappers used to make without their boom boxes emerged from his cracked lips. You would have been astonished to watch him in action. What the hell are you doing? Shouted the artist. Dancing, replied the homeless man, moving gloriously. Keep bringing me this beautiful knowledge. Socrates said, education is the kindling of a flame. And Isaac Asimov wrote, self education, I believe, is the only kind of education there is. So keep playing the old guru's words, dude. That's all so gnarly. 1 second, I think we'll just take a small break. Uh, I have to see who's there. Okay, so Devama, what did you understand? And Taranjit ji, what do you want to say about it?
Shall I speak?
Yes, please.
I joined a little late. Actually, there was no internet connection. But what the author is saying, that start early. This is what we have been taught, and we have been teaching. Our Vedas tell us this. All the holy books tell us this, that we should start early. We should get up early. And if I say, lately I had read the biography of Bill Gates. So he said, sorry, he said that I get up early and the first thing I do is I make up my bed. So that first action sets my day. This is what the author over here is also repeating. Starting early, always, if one, the start is good, definitely the end will also be good. If you start early, at that time there is peace, there's silence, the not much of noise. And as in our holy books, it is called the Brahma Muhurat. At that time, it is said that all the holy souls are there to bless you. If you are spiritual also, and if nothing, then otherwise also, that morning time is the blessed time. That is what the author is repeating over here. He has said it in very beautiful words. I cannot replicate it, but definitely the meaning is this.
No, I think we should just be genuine. That's what he's saying. Be authentic.
Yes, be authentic, be genuine, and early riser is always a winner. This is what I have learned in my family also, always. So this is something what I understood from whatever we have read.
Good, thank you. Devama?
Yes, ma'am. We should stay in the environment which will inspire us to do uh, something, and to become ordinary to extraordinary, which is very important. That right habits, ma'am. That is very important, and the one who sweats more in training bleeds less in war. Like I have understood that we should do the hard work now, and we can get a much more future, ma'am. I have understood like that.
Wonderful, Devama. That's beautiful, and that's something every student should learn. That when
Yes,
you
ma'am.
sweat
Now,
more in practice, that you'll sweat less in, I mean, you bleed less
yes,
in war.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that means when you prepare well, and you not only will your exams go well, you'll also get the
Yes,
confidence. There'll be so many good results because of that.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
And we can't expect the like first we should put the effort and then we can expect the result, ma'am. Without putting a effort we can't expect that. We should put effort first.
Yes, yes, no doubt. Okay, so we'll continue reading.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yes. Okay. The artist resumed the recording. Heavily resist all piracy of your mastery from this world, tempting you into distractibility and causing digital dementia. Force your attention back to the avarice of potential aching for fuller expression, and today release all reasons that feed any stagnation of your strengths. Start being an imaginationalist, of those rare individuals who leads from the nobility of your future versus via the prison bars of your past. Each of us thirsts for days filled with tiny bursts of miraculous. Every one of us wishes to own our own own our pure heroism and step into unchained exceptionalism. All human beings alive at this moment have a primitive psychological need to produce masterworks that wow, live daily amidst uncommon awe, and know that we are somehow spending our hours in a way that enriches the lives of others. The poet Thomas Campbell said it beautifully when he observed, "To live in hearts we leave behind is not to die." Each of us truly has been built to make history in our own authentic way. For one, this might mean being an excellent coder or a fine teacher who lifts young minds. For another, this opportunity could mean becoming a tremendous mother or a magnificent manager. To yet another, this good fortune may mean growing a great business or being a fantastic salesperson who serves customers superbly. This chance to be remembered by future generations and lead a life that truly matters is not some platitude. That is, in fact, a truth. Yet, so few of us have discovered and then installed the very mentalities, morning practices, and consistent conditions that will guarantee these results appear for us. We all want to reaccess our birthright of towering talent, limitless joy, and freedom from fear. But few of us are willing to do the very things that would cause our hidden genius to present itself. Strange, right? And it's very sad. The majority of us have been hypnotized out of the luminosity that is our essence. Most of us in this age spend our most valuable hours being busy, chasing trivial pursuits, artificial amusements, while neglecting living a real life. This is a formula for heartbreak at the end. What's the point of spending your best mornings and potentially productive days climbing mountains that you realize that were the wrong ones when you were frail and wrinkled? Very sad. That part really resonated with me, interjected the entrepreneur, slightly emotionally. I'm definitely addicted to my technology. Can't stop checking everything. First thing in the morning and the last thing at night. It's draining my concentration. I can hardly focus on the important deliverables my team and I have committed to. And all the noise in my life is taking my energy. It's all feels so complicated. I just don't feel I have any time for myself anymore. It's fairly overwhelming. All the messages and the notifications and the ads and diversion, and what the spellbinder said is also very helpful to me as I raise my standards as a leader. I've sort of hit a wall. My company has grown faster than I ever expected. I've become more successful than I ever imagined, but there are some things causing me a ton of stress. She looked away and crossed her arms again. I can't tell them what I'm really dealing with, thought the entrepreneur. Then she continued, I've had to let go of people I really like because I learned people who fit at one stage of a business life cycle may not work as the firm evolves. That's been hard. They were the right employees for an earlier time, but they don't belong now. And some things are unfolding at my shop that have turned my life upside down. I don't really want to get into it. It's just very shaky time for me. A very shaky time for me. Well, on your point about elevating your leadership game, responded the homeless man, please remember that the job of a leader is to help disbelievers embrace your vision, the powerless to overcome their weaknesses, and hopeless to develop faith. And what you said on letting go of employees you like but no longer fit where your business is now at, that's normal part of growing a business. And it happened because they failed to grow as your enterprise rose. They started coasting. They stopped learning, inventing, and making everything they touched better than they found it. And as a result, they stopped being awesome value incubators for your venture. They likely blamed you, but they did it to themselves, the uninvited stranger indicated, surprising his listeners by the sophistication of his insights on team building and winning in commerce. Ah, exactly, replied the entrepreneur. So we had to leave them behind since they no longer delivered the results we were paying them for. A lot of nights I wake up at 2 a.m. soaked in a steamy sweat. Maybe it's like that what F1 racer Mario Andretti said. If everything seems under control, you're not going fast enough. That's how I seem to feel most days. We are blowing past our key performance indicators so quickly it makes my head spin. New teammates to mentor, new brands to manage, new markets to penetrate, new suppliers to watch, new products to refine, new investors and shareholders to impress, and 1,000 new responsibilities to handle. It really does feel it's a lot. I have a huge capacity to get big things done, but there's a lot on my shoulders. The entrepreneur tightened her arms and scrunched her forehead together absent-mindedly. Her thin lips pulled together like a sea anemone, shutting on, sorry, just a second, please, shutting on, sensing a fatal predator. And her eyes suggested she was suffering intensely. And about your point of being addicted to your technology, just remember that intelligently used, it advances human progress. Though using technology wisely, our lives become better, our knowledge becomes richer, and our wonderful world becomes smaller. It's the misuse of technology that's ruining people's minds, damaging their productivity, and destroying the very fabric of our society. Your phone is costing you your fortune, you know? If you're playing with it all day long, and what you said about the pressure on you, how fantastic! Pressure is a privilege, said tennis legend Billie Jean King. The homeless man shared. You get to grow, and ascending as a person is one of the smartest ways to spend the rest of your life. With every challenge comes the gorgeous opportunity to rise into your next level as a leader, performer, and human being. Obstacles are nothing more than tests designed to measure how seriously you want the rewards that your ambitions seek. They show up to determine how willing you are to improve into kind of person who can hold that amount of success. Failures just growth in wolf's clothing. And pretty much nothing else is as important in life as personal expansion, the unfoldment of your potential. Tolstoy wrote, everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. Become a bigger person, and you'll also automatically become a better leader and a great producer. And yes, I agree that growth can be scary. But my mentor once taught me that the part of you that clings to fear must experience a sort of crucifixion so that the portion of you that deserves high honor undergoes a kind of reincarnation. Those are exact words he shared with me. Freaky and deep, right? Said the hobo as he rubbed the holy man's beads he was wearing. He kept going without waiting for an answer. My special teacher also told me that to find your best self, you must lose your weak self. And that only happens through relentless improvement, continuous reflection, and ongoing self excavation. If you don't keep rising daily, you will get stuck in your life for the rest of your life. Makes me consider what the journalist Norman Cousins said. The tragedy of life is not death, but what we let die inside of us while we live. Wow, deep words. The homeless man raised his raspy voice and observed. My special teacher taught me that once we transform the primary relationship with ourselves, we'll find that our relationships with other people, our work, our income, and our impact transform. Most people can't stand themselves, so they can never be alone and silent. They need to constantly be with other people to escape their feelings of self hatred over their wasted potential, missing the wonders and wisdom that solitude and quiet can bring. Or they watch TV endlessly, not realizing it's eroding the imagination as well as bankrupting the bank accounts. My life feels so complicated. I feel so overwhelmed. I don't have any time for myself, the entrepreneur repeated. Not sure what's happened to my life. Things have just become hard. I understand you, said the artist said as he placed an arm over his new friend's shoulder. My intuition tells me that you're going through a lot more than you're sharing, and that's okay. You know, some days life seems so messy that I can't get out of bed. I just lie there, man. I close my eyes and wish the fog in my head would just go away, even for a day. I can't think straight some of the time. And on those days, my heart has no hope in it at all. It sucks. And a lot of people suck too, man. I'm not antisocial. I'm just anti moron. Too many dumb people around these days, taking simple fashion pictures of themselves with pouty lips in clothes they can't afford, hanging with people they don't even like. I rather live a thoughtful life, a risky life, a real life, an artist's life. Drives me crazy how superficial people have become. The artist then punched one fist into his other hand. Unyielding creases appeared along his jawline, and a blue vein twitched in his thick neck. Sure, I got you, said the homeless man. Life isn't easy, people. Tough slog a lot of time. But like John Lennon said, everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. He offered kindly, sprouting yet another quote from which seemed to be an unlimited supply in his brain. Spouting, sorry. The artist softened instantly, smiling in a way that looked almost sweet. He exhaled mightily. He liked what he just heard. And the vagrant continued, this climb up into the rare air of personal and professional mastery that the three of us have obviously signed up for is not for the weak. Upgrading your life so that you know real joy and optimizing your skills so you f- own your field can be uncomfortable a lot of time. I need to be honest, but there's one key thing I've learned. The soreness of growth is so much less expensive than the devastating costs of regret. Where did you learn that? Questioned the artist as he scrawled the words into his notebooks. Can't tell you yet, the homeless man responded, heightening the mastery of where he discovered so much of his insight. Okay, let me see. We'll read the rest of this paragraph and then we'll take a break. Mhm. Okay. The homeless man responded, heightening the mastery of where he's discovered much of his insight. Mystery, sorry, mystery, not mastery, mystery. The entrepreneur turned away from the artist and jotted down some of her thoughts into a device. The homeless man had reached into his pocket of his hole ridden plaid shirt and produced a heavy used index card. He held it up like a kindergarten student at show and tell. A distinguished person gave this to me when I was a lot younger. As I was starting my first company, I was a lot like you cats, dripping with dreams and set to make my mark on the world. Hungry to prove myself, amped to dominate the game. The first 50 years of our lives are a lot about seeking legitimacy. We crave social approval. We want our peers to okay, to respect us. We hope our neighbors will like us. We buy all sorts of things we really don't need and obsess about making money we really don't enjoy. Okay, it's 9:50. So let's stop here. Okay, let me look at which page it is. Page 29. Okay. So who's going to go first? Sorry, yeah. Who's going to go first? Good, Devama. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. They spoke about leadership, quality of leaders, ma'am. They can encourage us, and they can develop the faith in us, and that the tragedy of life is not death, but what we let die inside all of us while we alive. What, ma'am? What does it say?
I'll tell you, wait.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
And yes, ma'am. And that everything will be okay at the end. That is very inspiring. We will we are start struggling when we got into the problems, why it is happening to me only, uh, like that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we
So,
should not
John,
lose our,
yeah, hope.
if, yes, ma'am, hope. And
So, what he said, everything will be okay in the end. If it is not okay, that means it's not the end.
yes, ma'am, that is very inspiring. we should not lose our hope till the end.
Yes.
And yes, ma'am, that's it.
Very nice, Devamma. I'm so happy to see you speak so much. I'm so happy to see you speak so sensibly, coherently, confidently.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so very much, Devamma.
Yes, ma'am.
Taranjit, what do you like about what was just said?
I never knew that this sentence has been written by Norman Cousins. This is a sentence which I always use, that if something dies within you when you are still alive, is it is a very difficult feeling to express. There are so
True.
many relationships which we have to give up for some or the other cause when we are still alive. That is something that dies inside us. Death is
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
ultimate thing. And talking about what we had studied in read in the last book also, the power of why, the same thing replicated here also, saying that when we are growing and the people, those who don't have the same vision, the same energy to grow with us, they outfall automatically. We have to leave them behind. We don't want it, but then we don't have a choice. We have to
True.
make that very difficult choice of leaving such people behind who were there with us in the beginning, but they couldn't continue because uh, they cannot understand our why. So this is what the writer says. The author is saying, the homeless person, he explains this in a very nice way.
True, true, true. I think what I really loved about, so a lot of people, just a second, please. So, what I liked is a lot of people don't like to be alone. Like this man said, they can't be alone. They're scared of being alone. They're scared of being alone. They're worried about being alone. And they find it so difficult. And also, how we are killing our creativity by being scared. That's what stood out to me, that, fearlessness, fearfulness is what is driving us than anything else. And fearfulness is killing our confidence. Fearfulness is killing our um, inspiration. And we are so scared, even if we are inspired to do anything, our doubt is killing us. And our doubts spring from our fear. So today, let's be a little more this thing. Sandhya, what would you like to say? I hope you heard it.
Actually, Kanti, yeah, in between, because I have a lot of things to do in this hour. So
Ah.
it's a little difficult for me to sit throughout. Um, yeah, so I just listen in between. So very difficult to say anything, but um, I was
But
just that when the homeless person says that about failures, like how you take the failures, how you must uh, uh, like for personal expansion, failure is there, but how you overcome it and how you grow better is um,
true.
to become a leader, and that's how you will become a leader.
I think it all depends on how we deal with failures,
Yeah,
how we beat ourselves up or learn from it and become better people.
yeah, and pressure is always there with everybody, and how you handle that and how you come out of it is what makes you a better person or better leader.
Yes, yes, yes.
The writer also stresses that uh, because we want to belong to some people, like that sense of belonging, which is the basic quality of human beings. So we don't, many a times we don't belong to that group, we don't belong to the same thought process people, but then we keep on going along with them, killing ourselves somewhere or the other, our thought process, our values, our virtues, so many things we keep on killing just to belong to that
Part of
group
a
of same
group.
people.
Yeah. To be a
Because,
part of a group, we kill our inherent and innate nature.
yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yes. Okay. So I think we can close the meeting. Thank you so much, Taranjit. Thank you so much, Devamma. Thank you so much, Sandhya.
Yeah.
thank you
Thank
everybody,
Good
and
night.
thank you Kanti ma'am for reading for us. Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Mm.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Good
so
ma'am.
much. Thank
good
you.
night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.